What's up, gang? Hey, man, another banger. Ton of gold nuggets in this one. Make sure you watch this one to the very end. The reaction video came out with a banger. You feel me? So hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Join the CLG community. 7-day free trial. What are you waiting for? Jump in. 7-day free trial. Send me a DM. You get a free one-on-one. Even if you stay after the 7-day free trial, you get access to all of my work, everything that I've ever created inside of there. And you also get access to all of the live Q&As, which has helped a lot of guys get better even sooner. So stop procrastinating and jump in, and without further ado, let's just jump right into this video.
And I'm just gonna get straight to it. Be honest. Do you think that most women are inherently evil or scammers? Do you think that from what you see?
I do, and I definitely do say that. And the reason why I say that is because a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons being a lot of women
It's true.
don't know.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's true. Yeah, no, it's true. A lot of women don't know what they want. And so they get into these situations of what, either their friends or their family or society tells them that they're supposed to do. And then they do all the right things to get there. Then when they get there, the real them comes out. And I feel like that's kind of a lot of, like, women are hormonal, right? We're completely different than men. But a lot of times women are so wrapped up in their emotions and their feelings, which feelings are fleeting. And they make these brash decisions, and that's scary because a man who's stable, who's in a situation, can just wake up one day and be like, who is this? Like, it takes evolution for women to be, in my opinion, more stable, more calm, more logical thinking. Like, I think it
so
takes
you think
the
there's
work.
a way they can become logical thinkers? You think there's something on this planet that can make them that way?
I think it's never going to be the same as a man.
Damn, man, he hit her with some hard questions, boy. First question he asked was, do you think that women are evil? She agreed, right? And she's a woman, you know what I mean? And she understands that emotions are fleeting. She understands that when you are controlled by your emotions, that makes you unstable. Because depending on how you feel is going to be the decision that you make, right? Now, when we talk about emotions, yes, men have emotions too. Let's not just say it's just women that have emotions, whatever the case is. But true emotional stability, or whatever, I forgot. True emotional intelligence, that's the word. True emotional intelligence means that you can control your emotions. So when women say stuff like, I'm emotionally intelligent, a lot of times they're lying because they have little to no control over their emotions. Meaning, if somebody makes them mad, they lose it. They lose their minds. If somebody makes them jealous, or somebody makes them... A woman can lose her mind, while a guy who's emotionally intelligent, which a lot of guys are, not all guys, is guys that act feminine too. Is guys, somebody can, trigger their emotions and they lose their mind, they black out as well, which is, there's feminine guys on the planet too. Matter of fact, nowadays there's a lot of feminine guys on the planet. You feel me? But a truly emotionally intelligent person is somebody who can actually control their emotions. That's emotional intelligence. Somebody who has control over their emotions, who understands their emotions and has control over them. Women throw out the term that men aren't emotionally intelligent or emotionally in tuned, but the man can actually control his emotions. A lot of times the woman cannot. So who's the more emotionally intelligent one out of the two? You get what I'm trying to say? So when I'm breaking this stuff down and I'm saying this stuff in my videos, I'm just giving you guys the truth, right? Now, as for what you do with the truth, that's up to you, but at least you know the truth. For example, we had a very, very, very good one-on-one, or not one-on-one, it was a Q&A. We had a very, very, very good Q&A last night. It was an emergency Q&A because I forgot to record the one for Monday. So we did an emergency one. It was late. It lasted till late, but it was a bunch of gold nuggets, and it was a bunch of gold gems from a bunch of solid guys in the group. So we talking, we chopping it up, and one of the things that came up last night, dang, I forgot where I was going to go with this, but at the end of the day, this is what I will tell you. You can believe what you want to believe. At the end of the day, what I'm going to give you is the facts. At the end of the day, once you have the facts, you can do what you want to do with those facts. Oh yeah, going back to the live Q&A, one of the things that popped up was the importance of being able to choose between a main chick and a rotation chick. Why that is so important. Because here's the thing. If you try to turn a rotation chick into a main chick, it's usually going to come with severe consequences. Like the fact that you trying to change her or turn her into something that she is not, she will make you pay for it long term. Right? Long term. And me personally, I'm naturally more of a long-term thinker. The reason why I'm a long-term thinker is because the way I figure stuff out is 5 to 10 years from now, how is this going to look? You get what I'm trying to say? I am not the get rich quick guy. I am not the guy who's trying to get famous fast. I'm not the guy who's looking for the viral moment. I'm not none of those guys, right? Even when it comes to my business, I like to think 5 to 10 years from now, how is the business going to look? You get what I'm trying to say? But the people who want that instant gratification, the people that want that hit, the people that want that, you know what I mean, that arm candy, or they want to wife up a thought, or whatever the case is, which a lot of these streamers do. They do this a lot. They'll, get in a relationship with a girl that should have never been a girl that you take serious, or should have never been a girl that you display to the world. There should have been a girl like tucked away, hidden, nobody know about. But they'll get into these like committed full-blown relationships with these women, and 9 times out of 10 these women ruin these guys' lives. You know what I mean? And this is not just the streamers, and this is not just the famous people, and this is not just the Shannon Sharps of the world, or whatever the case is, taking the wrong girl too serious. This happens to everyday men. Happens to everyday men. You feel me? Because it's good until it's not. And then they find out that this girl is a raging psychopath, and she's trying to destroy your reputation. She's trying to destroy your career. She's trying to destroy your money. She's trying to take your resources. She's trying to put you through the ringer. And we actually had a guy who shared his story with us. And like I said, this happens to everyday men if they choose to put the wrong chick in the wrong category. Rotation chicks strictly should be used for sexual purposes. You get what I'm trying to say? They know it, you know it. You get what I'm trying to say? Now, main girls are very, very, very difficult to find. That's why I always tell guys, be careful with who you make your main chick. Like, the way that I went about it was I was never even looking for a main chick. You feel me? The way I went about it is I was like, you know what? I'm going to hook up with girls that I find attractive. And then, once I get to know them, they're going to tell me who they are, and I'm going to believe them. Shit. After a while, me getting to know them, they going to tell me about their past. They going to tell me what they done. The way that, a girl don't, I got to the point, a girl don't even got to tell me she used to be a hoe. She don't even got to tell me. Just the way she move and operate, and the way she do stuff, and the way she handle stuff, and the way she act. You get what I'm trying to say? The way she act, you can tell she ain't built for no long-term relationship. There's a reason why she's still single. There's a reason why. Or there's a reason why she's married and she's still giving you some of them yams. You get where I'm coming from? There's a reason why she's in a full-blown committed relationship and she's still throwing you some of that coochie on the side. There's a reason why. So don't be the Captain Save-A-Hoe and be like, oh, I'm going to save you from him and I'm going to take you in and you're going to be my wife. Bro, there was this story. And this is actually not a real story. Like, this is not even like a real story that like actually like made like headlines and stuff. This is just like everyday regular people. It was a guy. He went to like Colombia. You know what I mean? And the chick was gorgeous. You know what I mean? And he was an entrepreneur. No, he wasn't an entrepreneur. He had a job, but he made a lot of money though. But he had a job though. So this is the thing. When you make a lot of money and you work for somebody, that person really owns your life a lot of the times. Like, no company, I don't care what nobody say. Like, people be like, oh, CEOs, it's so cool to be a CEO of a company. Bro, CEOs work non-stop. The founders, the owners, they get calls all the time. They got to put out fires all the time. They got to be a part of hiring decisions. Like, they not just making a bunch of money, living life and stuff like that. No, they work a lot. They travel a lot. They do a lot of business trips. That's why a lot of them is bald headed. A lot of them stressed out. Their phone is always ringing. They always got to put some fire out. They always got to do something with something. You get what I'm trying to say? A lot of times CEOs work very hard for the little $300,000, $400,000 they earn a year. And that, I'm not going to say little. That's a lot of money. $300,000 a year is a lot of money. I don't care what nobody says. That's a lot of money. But here's the thing. They are owned, right? So this guy was making money. You know what I mean? But he was an employee. But he's making a lot of money. So he took this girl from Colombia, brought her to the USA. First mistake. You know what I mean? And because she was gorgeous. You know what I mean? And he moved her into his house. Nice neighborhood. Nice neighbors. Nice everything. You feel me? I'm talking about big old houses, all types. Moved her into the crib, right? He moves her into the crib. And one day he gets home and he can't find his chick. But, and this is the thing about girls, they always leave signs. It like if it's a girl not worth taking serious, she's always gonna leave signs. She probably always on her phone. She probably always doing something a little weird. So the weird thing that she would always do is she would always go to the neighbor across the street house. And every time he'd be like, you know, she's like, oh, I'm going to go to the neighbor's house. Oh, that's my friend. That's my friend. You know, I'm going to go to the neighbor's house. That's my friend. Oh, that's my friend. So the guy goes home, can't find his wife. Can't find his wife that he committed to. Took her from Colombia, took her from the broke poor, whatever the case is, brought her into this nice, lavish lifestyle. So he's like, the neighbor. Okay, yeah, but well, the friend. Oh, she got a neighbor friend. And he remembered seeing her walk across the street to the neighbor's house, her friend. So he's like, oh, maybe she over there, because he couldn't find her and she wasn't picking up her phone. Knocks on the door. Come to find out, neighbor is an entrepreneur guy. Neighbor is a decent looking, in shape, swole entrepreneur guy, right? They probably make similar money, but the guy whose door he knocked on got a little bit more free time or whatever the case is. But that's not the case. But at the end of the day, he probably just act more masculine or something like that. Who knows what it really was? But he's an entrepreneur. You feel me? So he knocks on the door, and he's like, yeah. He wasn't even expecting like it was a guy, but it is a guy. And he was like, yeah, I'm looking for my wife. You know, I seen her come over here before. And the wife in the background. And he was like, oh yeah, she here. You know what I mean? And then she comes to the door. And the guy was just like, hey honey, come home. Like, and she's like, no, I want to stay here. And then he was like, what's going on? And then the little Colombian girl hugs her hand around him. She's like, I'm sorry, but I don't love you. I love him. So imagine that, bro. Like, this is the pain that men have to go through, especially if they feminine, especially if they, whatever the case is. And let's put it like this. And I hate to say this, and it's going to sound very controversial. It's very hard. It's not impossible, right? But it's very hard to work for somebody and still keep your masculinity unless you're really good at compartmentalizing or unless you're just a real one at work. So a lot of the stuff that I teach in CLG and a lot of stuff that I teach on the internet, it actually translates to everything in your life because you understand that being a man is actually more important than anything, right? It's even more important than how much money you make in a lot of cases. You get what I'm trying to say? And in actuality, when you think things that will make you less money would actually make you more money. But let's just put it like this. When you work for somebody, naturally your boss or the person who hires you naturally feels like they're your superior because they hired you. But it's two ways that it can go. You can actually fall into that role where you also believe that the person who hired you is your superior as well. And you fall into more of a feminine, submissive role, like more of a yes man. Yes, daddy. Yes, daddy. You know what I mean? You don't really challenge much stuff. You just do what you told. You can fall into that role. Does that make sense? Which is more of a feminine role, but you can naturally fall into that role. Or you can still try to keep some of your masculinity and some of your dignity, and the stuff that you don't necessarily agree with, you know how to basically handle it without no crazy confrontation or nothing like that. You ain't got to fight. It don't got to lead to blows, but you still stand your ground on what you believe. Like, hey, man, you hired me for a reason. You know what I mean? This is where you wanted the company to go. You know, I know you saying that you believe that this is the way we should go, but I believe this is the way that we should go. And then at least there's some open dialogue. Now, if your superior convinces you otherwise and it really makes sense, as a man, you be like, okay, I can see your point, whatever the case is. But if it don't make sense, hey man, just trust me on this. You hired me, so it is your company. I'm gonna, if we do it your way, just understand that I'm not in agreement with that. I believe if we do it this way, because you hired me to, you know, bring up the numbers, this is how I believe it should go down. You get what I'm trying to say? It's very difficult. Can it be done? Yes, but it's extremely difficult. Another reason why I've hooked up with girls who've hooked up with NBA players, NFL players, ex-NFL players, things like that. And it's crazy to me that some of the guys that people would assume are so masculine, I'm talking about muscle, height, ripped, like can probably kill a man with their bare hands. When it comes to women, these guys can be extremely feminine. And you got to also understand that because they play sports their whole life, very few athletes can break out of the feminine role, because a lot of athletes, they have a superior, which is their coach. And the coach will treat you depending on how they believe that you act. So if you act more feminine, the coach will yell at you more, will tell you what to do more, will get in your face more, will tell you to do this or get off the field. Like, the coach will be more in your face. If you're masculine, like, I think one of the few people, and they say he might do some weird stuff here and there, but in terms of how he acts, from what the stories that I've heard, you feel me? Jimmy Butler is, from how they talk about him, the stories that I've heard about him, is a super masculine, headstrong, my way, no way type of guy, even though he's an athlete and he plays on a team. But Jimmy Butler is very like combat. Like, this is why they kicked him out of Minnesota, like that, off the Minnesota team. He beat he said Karl Anthony Towns is soft. He went in with the twos, the backups. He beat the starters. He left. He ain't show up. Like he moved to the beat of his own drum. It is what it is. Like, a lot of people will probably be not in the NBA if they move like that. But Jimmy Butler's just a different type of guy. But he's one of the few. Because I play sports, and I was a little bit more of the move to the beat of my own drum. And not all the time. Like most of the part, if it made sense, it made sense. But if the coach got out 2 out of line or whatever the case is, I was the more of the, nah, man, I ain't finna do that. Or like this don't even make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was a little bit more like that. Now with my age, I'm a lot more like that. But I had that little rebel in me. You feel me? Like especially in college. Coaches would say crazy stuff, and I'd just be like, bruh, I don't make no sense. You feel me? Like this, like I ain't feeling this. Like, you know what I mean? So I had a little bit of rebel in me. Not as much as a Jimmy Butler, whatever the case is, but here's what I've noticed. When you have a little rebel in you, not only do your coaches try to get you back in line, but other players on your team try to get you back in line. You understand where I'm coming from? So the other players on your team will be like, man, bro, just listen to the coach, man. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Let's just do what he say. Just everybody wants you to get back in line. Does it make sense? Everybody wants you to be a good boy. Everybody wants you to behave, right? And the way I look at it is I am behaving if it makes sense. Does it make like I will fucking behave if I agree with what is going on. But if I don't agree with what's going on, I have to be a man and I have to say, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with how this game plan is going. I don't agree with how y'all running things. That's how Jimmy Butler was with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't agree with how this is going on. This dude too soft. This dude can't play. I don't know what y'all doing with the system. Matter of fact, let me show you I don't agree with it. I can beat these guys with the backups. So y'all putting all of this into these guys. We ain't gonna win no championship if it's structured like this. Matter of fact, trade me. That's very rare. That's very rare. And the reason I brought that up is because it's very rare in the real world too. Men have become so feminine en masse that it's very rare that a man will stick to his guns. Bro, I kid you not. If the interaction isn't going how I want it to go, for the most part, I can be horny. I could be 7 days, not have slept with a girl, whatever the case is. I could be hornier than anything. If the interaction is not going how I want it to go with a girl, I have no problem throwing the whole chick away, not even getting the coochie. I have no problem. I don't even want the pussy. I don't want none of it. If you can't get on my game plan, I don't want none of it. I don't even want the pussy. Does that make sense? I don't even want the pussy. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to text you. I don't want nothing to do with you. You can be the baddest bitch I have ever seen in my life. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. If she the baddest bitch I ever seen in my life, a little bit more leeway. A little tiny bit more leeway. That's just a natural thing, right? Because this is the baddest bitch I've ever seen in my life. I want that pussy even that much more, meaning that I'm a tiny bit more flexible. It's still me moving to the beat of my own drum, but it's also me being honest with myself. If a bitch that bad, she get a little bit motherfucking more leeway, because that's how bad I want them fucking guts. But even that bitch, if she get too far gone or too far out of line or not on my program, I'm done with her too. Because I naturally become unattracted to a chick. Think about this. I naturally become less attracted to a chick that is unreliable and doesn't move to the beat of my drum with me. I naturally, even if I had high attraction for her, or respect, we call it respect, right? Even if I had high respect for the girl, which it's not really respect for the girl, it's just attraction. If it's a guy looking at a girl, it's just attraction. Because it ain't really much to respect from a girl. Like, what you gonna do, respect her beauty? Like, what did she do to earn your respect? Like, you get what I'm trying to say? So, I'm not gonna say, like, high respect. I give human beings natural respect off the rip, but what I'm trying to say is, if my attraction for her is extremely high, but the way she acts is not in alliance with how I want things to go, it drops significantly. And once it hits too low of a threshold for me, I don't want nothing to do with her. I'm done with her. You feel me? I don't want nothing to do with the chick. But that's me being a man moving to the beat of my own drum. You get what I'm trying to say? That's the way that I would do things. And that's why I always tell guys, stick to your guns. You know what you can deal with. You know what you can handle. You know everything about yourself. And I'm going to be honest with you. There are a lot of feminine men out there. There are men who I know for a fact, these men exist, that they will get into a full-blown committed relationship with a hot wife. Meaning they'll get into a relationship with a girl. They know for a fact this girl is a promiscuous girl. You can't change her. They will get into a full-blown relationship with this girl, and they will allow this girl to hook up with other men. They will watch her hook up with other men. If you think I'm lying, jump into the CLG community. You will see guys that have arrangements with the husband and the wife to sleep with the wife while the husband watches. This is not cap. This is real life. These situations really happen. You get what I'm trying to say? So at the end of the day, you know what I mean? If you want to steal, because I don't even know how high the percentage is. If I had to guess, a very, 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 very high percentage of these chicks nowadays, rotation. Like it's so high it doesn't even make sense, bro. With the attitudes, with the way they talk, with the way they sleep around, with the majority of these new age women, rotation. You'll be out your mind if you think you want to take her serious and save her from the streets. You will be out of your mind. Trust. It will come with repercussions and consequences. But the thing is, if you feel like even knowing that it will come with those repercussions and consequences, you just watch this interview with women telling you how they act. You feel me? They just told you. You get where I'm coming from? So if you willing to take that risk and do that and fully commit to one of them, you're doing it at your own risk. Just trust. You're doing it at your own risk. So meaning that you got to be man enough to deal with the consequences that may come with it. And I'm not talking about just the short term. I'm talking about long-term consequences. Because that's how I think. That's how my mind works. I'm a long-term thinker. You know what I mean? When I start a business to do something, I'm thinking about how it's going to be 10, 20 years from now. Not just right now, the instant gratification, trying to, no. How is it going to be down the line? You understand where I'm coming from? That's how I'm thinking about it. So be careful when you out here and you in these streets and you're not picking up on these signs. You feel me? Be careful when you out here taking the wrong girl serious. Be careful, you feel me? Like, and a lot of you guys, you understand where I'm coming from and you understand what I'm saying because you know in your heart of hearts, that's what you truly believe. Because when I tell a man to move to the beat of his own drum, and we had this talk last night, what I truly mean is remove the media. Please take the media, take your parents, take everything out of your head for a second and throw it to the side. All the stuff that you think you knew about being a man, throw it all away. Close your eyes, go deep, go in touch with your deeper internal self and ask yourself, how do you want your life to go? Those are the questions you need to ask. Women actually do like selfish men, whether you believe it or not. How can you save her? How can you help her if you can't even help yourself? You see what they say on the airplane. They say, hey, if the plane is losing oxygen, put your own oxygen mask on first before you try to help somebody else with theirs. Save yourself before you try to save somebody else. These are the instructions. Why do they say that? Because how good are you to anybody else if you don't even respect and love and haven't even saved your own life? That's why in the CLG community, the free trial, you get access to the foundation, right? And the foundation is so key and it's so important and it's so crucial. Because without the foundation, how can you move this way with women? I guarantee you, some people, they look at the way that I text, because I got to text, how I text women, I got text scripts, I got all kinds. I guarantee you, some people, they look at the way that I text women and they don't love themselves and they don't have that internal foundation and they don't have that strength, and they be like, oh, how does he do that? Why does he say that to her? What's going on? Why isn't he pandering to her? Why isn't he following her every move? Why isn't he treating her like a princess? She's a princess. The reason you think about that, because you lack self-love for yourself and you lack self-respect for yourself. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's just be honest. You lack so much respect and love for yourself. You feel like yourself isn't enough for her. Think this through. I know I've been beating up on Myron lately, but this is very true. Because you got to understand the ideologies of some people. Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit. Right? And they had a good run. But you see, it was a short run. You feel me? You see, it had a spike and like now it's dying down. You know what I mean? Now they're trying to jump into political space or whatever the case is. And they had like that, like if they really stood on business and they thought long term and they was truly honest and whatever the case is, and they were more long-term business thinkers, that would still be the biggest show on YouTube right now. You feel me? How can you expose somebody who's already been honest and upfront and transparent? How can you expose somebody like that? You get what I'm trying to say? But here's the thing. I'm going on Myron. I'm picking on him for a little bit, but this is how I see it. Could be wrong, but I'm telling you how I see it. If you truly hate yourself, right? Like you look in the mirror and you don't like what is in the mirror. You don't like that person that's in the mirror. Whether you hate yourself because you're not white, whether you hate yourself because whatever reason, you know what I mean? You don't, whatever. You don't think you look good enough. You don't have some internal confidence or belief or whatever the case is. Whatever the reason is that you hate yourself, if you truly hate yourself, what you're going to do is when you talk to the opposite gender, whether the interaction goes well or not, you're going to feel like yourself is not enough for that girl. So when you feel like you aren't enough for her, you're going to try to overcompensate with things. Money, status, you need this, you need to be a height. You're gonna tell yourself things that aren't necessarily true because you feel like yourself isn't good enough. Does that make sense? You're gonna convince yourself of things that just might not actually be true because you're gonna feel like yourself is not good enough. But a person who is truly solid and truly in love with themselves, they know that shit don't matter like that. You feel me? And they can handle rejection very well. Because the way I handle rejection, I promise you, I kid you not, when a girl doesn't go with my plan, my first thought, and this is the true thought, I honestly feel like she's missing out. Like she's missing out. Like she will never be able to feel my dick inside of her. She will never be able to taste my cum. She will never be able to taste my dick. She's missing out. Like that's how I honestly feel. You feel me? I honestly feel that way. It's not a cap. It's not a game. If a girl's not going with my program, in my heart of hearts, I feel like she's missing out. She will never be able to experience this dick. And I even feel more like that. Let's say I'm 7 days, I haven't busted a nut. Let's say I'm 7 days, I'm backed up, balls full of cum, right? And if the wind blow, my shit get hard, right? And she want to turn me down, and I'm 7 days, and I ain't fucking 7 days, and she want to turn me down. Oh, I'm like, oh, this bitch stupid. This is in my mind. I'd be like, this bitch don't even know the pipe I put on this bitch right now. Like whoever get this 7 day or whoever get this 3 day 8 day or whatever the fuck, I don't really go too long without busting another nut. I got hoes for real. But whoever get this motherfucking 3 day, 4 day, 5 day nut, oh my God, this bitch gonna want to marry me after I'm done with her. Cause like I'm not capping with you niggas. I don't watch. Sometimes I watch porn occasionally, but I don't jack off and bust nuts and shit like that. Hell nah, nigga. Fuck that. If I go on a streak and I don't get pussy for a while, guess what? I'm saving that motherfucker 7 day. I'm saving that 3 day. I'm saving that 5 day. And guess what? The next bitch that's finna get that bitch, I'm finna rock this bitch world. And I know I'm finna give it to a submissive bitch because I don't deal with no other bitch that ain't following my program to fucking begin with. You get what I'm trying to say? If she ain't following, if she ain't going with what I want her to do, I'm not fucking with the bitch to begin with. You feel me? So that's the way I think of it. That's the way I look at the world. And I stick to my fucking guns. I'm not changing. You know what I mean? I am unwavering. And hopefully I can get you guys on that same track. Hopefully I can get as many men as possible to not demonize themselves for being masculine. If the game that you're playing is broken, if you've been listening to mainstream media and you haven't been getting the results that you want, it is time to play a different game. And it's better to start sooner rather than later. 7 day free trial, CLG. Jump in. Test it out. Read the comments. Talk to the guys. DM me. Do a free 101. Do what you got to do to win. But if you haven't been getting the results that you so desperately want, it's time to jump into the CLG community sooner rather than later. Link is in the comments. Link is in the description. You can find the link anywhere. You feel me? 7-day free trial. Jump in. Only $48 a month after that. No money. You feel me? So, I just wanted to break that down for you guys. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.